Hello everyone and welcome, this is Common Cam. Today I'm going to be doing a separate video for Netflix's Transformers War for Cybertron series called Siege. This is going to be season 1, but instead of doing reviews, I'm going to talk about a particular moment that happens throughout the series. This is going to be in episode 5. These episodes don't actually have titles to them, so they are just listed as episode 1, 2 and 3, etc. In episode 5, Jetfire offers to help Optimus Prime retrieve the Allspark. Bumblebee, Cog and RC go on a mission for Energon, and Wheeljack tries to get the Ark to fly. And in this episode as well, you have Ironhide and Elita 1 suddenly realizing that Megatron's plan to eradicate Alpha Trion's code is working. Several outposts of different Autobot bases are going down one by one and are being attacked. And one of these outposts is commanded by Cliffjumper. So yes, we get a cameo of Cliffjumper in the show, and this was actually teased ahead of the series by the showrunner FJ DeSanto. He did an interview and he showed this particular scene off. It was only a brief clip, but we got this like days prior, and I have a bit of an issue with this particularly. Now, I feel like they used Cliffjumper mainly because, well, it's the same model design as Bumblebee. They didn't even bother to tweak the head though. That was kind of a bit of a noticeable aspect. It's like we've got the toy of Cliffjumper from the toy line, but he looks actually nothing like as he does when he appears in the show. And that's simply because, well, they wanted to use Cliffjumper as a way of also making an Easter egg, but also as a fact of reusing an asset, reusing a mod. And it's obviously noticeable to some people wouldn't notice it, but Cliffjumper has been kind of having an unfortunate setback within the Transformers franchise of always being dead, mostly. You know, this started with Transformers Prime and it elevated to the movie, and now we've got him in this series as well. I believe I've spoken about this before on my channel when it comes to Cliffjumper and his death, and how kind of annoying it is that every time he appears, he dies in some way or something happens to him, because as he's reporting to Ironhide and Elita 1, it's pretty clear that all security systems are failing and all these bases are being attacked and they're being wiped out one by one, because at the end of the series we have the Ark being the last defense of the Autobots, as Elita 1 tries her best to get everyone out of Cybertron, as Megatron is coming at the Autobots pretty hard. So it begs to the question, did Cliffjumper actually die, or is it just left anonymous? Well, in all fairness, there's probably a likely chance we will see Cliffjumper again, solely because of the reason he has a toy in Earthrise. Yes, so not actually in the War for Cybertron Siege, but he does in the War for Cybertron Earthrise, which will be season 2 of this Netflix series. And the fact that he's going to be in his Earth mode, I think the reason why they used Bumblebee's design was because, well, they didn't want to completely redo it, and maybe they didn't have the Cliffjumper Earth model designed finished in time, because they are working on this show all in one go. So that's what I imagine happened, is that alright, we haven't got Cliffjumper's model done yet for the Earthrise series, which will be season 2, so why don't we, just for the Cybertron's sake, just use Bumblebee's design. So who knows, we could see Cliffjumper again. I feel like it was mainly done just to represent the dire situation that the Autobots are in and how heavy the Decepticons are attacking them. So who knows, it begs to the question, if Cliffjumper is indeed dead, it's like, okay, I'm just kind of sick and tired of this constant joke. And it's not even funny really, it's just kind of like, really, you can't do anything else with the character, you're just going to use him. It's just going to be expected whenever we see him if it continues to be a trend like that. I do believe they just did it for an Easter egg purpose. You know, we did get this clip before the series came out, so they definitely wanted to kind of make this Easter egg like, yeah, so we've also got Cliffjumper in it as well, you know, everyone loves Cliffjumper. It's like, yes, we do, so why do you keep on doing this to him? I don't know, but if he's got an Earthrise toy, I think he might make his way to Earth somehow. Or maybe Elita 1 will find him, because she does stay behind at the end of the season on Cybertron. Maybe as she gathers all the Autobots, they'll make their way back to Earth, who knows, and then Cliffjumper will of course be in his model for his Earth form. I don't know, that's my best bet on why Cliffjumper is not exactly how he looked as the toy, because they've simply not done it yet. See, the reason why they used Cliffjumper in the Bumblebee movie was basically to reuse the same design for Bumblebee, because obviously they didn't want to make an entirely new model just so it had it killed off. The only things they tweaked was the head. That's something that Siege didn't do, however, because in Transformers Prime when Cliffjumper died, that kind of had a meaning to it, that had like a kind of representation of what that series was like. But when it came to Bumblebee, it really did come down to, yeah, wanting to shock the audience, but also reusing the assets so we didn't have to make an entirely new model. And it appears when it comes to Siege, even though it's left anonymous of his fate, did he actually die or not, they still did the same method as the movie, but instead they just didn't bother changing his face at all, because you can just see a side-by-side shot how very different it is compared to the toy to actually how it is in the cartoon. I did like this Easter egg, and it was nice seeing Cliffjumper appear, but not at the price of it just being left anonymous, like, oh, is he another Autobot to suffer the fate of the Decepticons? But with Alita 1 staying at the end of the series, who knows, if it does focus on her a little bit in the next season, we might see her trying to find other Autobots, such as Cliffjumper, whose fate is yet to be known. But if I had to take a solid guess, I doubt we'll actually see him again. I just wanted to do this video, just a very short video. I don't want to go too much in depth about it because it really was just a 20-second clip of this character. I just wanted to bring it up for the sake of, like, yeah, the joke of constantly being heard of Cliffjumper dying all the time. And I hope that if we see Cliffjumper in future shows, he doesn't always be resorted to this, because while Cliffjumper's a great character, I don't know why he's only given us so much amount of screen time. Yes, he's exactly the same model as Bumblebee, but they are very distinct and very different. Anyway guys, this is all I've got to say. This has been just a short video on War for Cybertron Siege. I will be continuing the last 3 reviews I have planned for this series, so stay tuned for them, and other War for Cybertron theories and videos coming out as well. Anyway guys, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to get all updates instantly. Till the next time, goodbye.